We started off in January with a plan and a vision, just identifying what does it mean to have a plan and a vision as a believer. Then in February, we talked about having a solid foundation, the foundation of God, the foundation of Jesus, the foundation of love, the foundation of just the history of how the Bible played out and what does it mean and how do we actually read it. And so we talked about that in February. In March, we was talking about building a frame and being able to identify what are the different frames that we can identify inside our life that will help us perpetuate positive growth within each other and have these pillars that can stand the test of time that won't break or shatter. And this month, we've been talking about walls. And so we've been identifying just different aspects of walls that we put up in between us and God, walls that we put up that can help us build out boundaries for ourselves, walls that we put up towards God specifically, and walls that we put up for ourselves, when it comes with like shame, sin, and the whole nine. And so today, I wanted to have a really very let's week, because I know that it gets super intense at times, and it's a lot of like learning, and it's a lot of retention that we have to do when it comes to like the notes that we're given or whatever the case may be. And so I wanted to kind of be more conversational today. I want to see again who all comes, because if there's a even amount of people that comes, then we was gonna try to break it up and have a guys and girls talk, and then like swap off a guy and a girl in the midst of the talk, and then have the questions that we have for one another. We have preset questions, but then we also wanted to be able to give y'all the opportunity to ask questions to each side and just see if we can have a safe space one with each sex, but then also be able to have dialogue back and forth, because as we've seen inside culture currently, it's hard to have those conversations with your group of people, whether that's men or women, but then also have healthy conversations and dialogue back and forth between men and women. And so there's a lot of things that I feel like men are unaware of when it comes to women. And I also feel like there's a lot of things that men go through or struggle with that they don't necessarily open up and talk about. And we just want to be able to give that platform for both sides to be able to communicate what they feel, their emotions that they have towards the situation, and then, see if we can come to a level of agreement or a level of understanding of how we can be better as individuals going forward. And so if that's cool with everybody give me a thumbs up so I know that y'all, hear me, or y'all follow me, y'all tracking or whatever. All right, cool. Bet. So I wanted to start off, as we're also, giving people time to come in and stuff. Yes, Desi, what's up?
I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, you good. You good. So yeah, man, I wanted to just hear from y'all, like, how are y'all doing? Like before we get into anything and break off or whatever the case may be, I just want to hear, honestly, like before we get into the prayer requests, praise reports, whatever, how are you feeling within? And we can go around, we can go, randomly, whoever feels led to talk out loud, or I can pick y'all, individually if you want me to.
Just feeling like just all around, all together.
Yes, sir.
I think for me, it's like mixed emotions. Of course, with twins on the way, so it's just like, honestly, we're walking on eggshells, keeping her stress free, but also being the man trying to pick up more responsibilities around the house. So, and of course, the back-to-back appointments. So that's been like a frustrating part. But then at the same time, it's like I'm super excited because I am still in a better position in life, and I am getting blessed with two twins, two babies. So for me, it's just like it's mixed emotions right now.
Feel that, man. I feel that. Okay. All right. Key, how you feeling?
Now, why you tease me? Like, I feel like
I'm just picking everybody first that had their camera
I
on.
got
So,
you.
you
I'm
know,
just playing. I got you.
oh, you're next.
Right now in this moment, uh, um, today was weird. I just feel like I have a hard time like being still and finding time to like actually rest and relax. So even though I literally moved across the country, I'm still like, all right, why do you keep waking up so late? Let's do something. Like, I feel like I have to be productive. And when I'm not, I feel like I'm wasting my time. So, kind of struggling with that, but also like in a weird space where I don't really want to socialize with people, even though I'm very excited to see everyone. It's just weird. I don't know what it is, but a weird space. Um, I just feel like I've been fumbling the bag in terms of just like my routine of things and making good decisions in life. Um, I don't want to keep y'all long,
Mm.
but it's just a lot, just a little bit of trying to find rest, just a bit of stress. Um, Also just really grateful kind of. Today, Sydney did a very sweet, kind gesture today, um, just out of the blue. So I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah, I just feel like I'm in a nutshell all over the place. Um, yeah, that's
Okay,
the very watered down version of that.
got
But
you.
hopefully y'all picked up something.
I understand. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. We definitely picking up what you putting down. What's up, guys that came
Hey,
in late? For everybody who weren't here originally when we started, today's gonna be real lats. It's gonna be more conversation based. We're gonna just talk a little bit inside this group, but then we're gonna break out and like the guys and girls and be able to communicate. But then we're gonna switch one person over to each group, and then like y'all be able to like throw questions to the other side if you have some that you were talking about and stuff. But the object of it is to, kind of break the divide of men and women and see how we can do a better job with it as believers going forward. But we're not talking about that currently. Currently, we're just seeing how everybody's doing and how, y'all feel pretty much. So that's what we've been doing right now. All right, Chris, what's up? Talk to me, my guy.
All right. Right now, I'm here. I'm
Mm,
really just waiting on God to answer some questions at this point. I'm seeking knowledge in certain things for certain things that are going to be in the immediate future and definitely probably going to play out in the long term. And that's really all I can say at the moment.
I got you. I got you. Okay. So you're just trying to get answers. I feel that. Chris, how you feel, man?
Sorry, I'm a little soft spoken. Uh Honestly, like the overarching feeling is like just tired and exhausted. I've just been put in a lot of spaces lately where I'm like having to juggle people and feelings and emotions and responsibility of my own and other people's, and it's just like a lot of weight on myself. And it like feels crushing sometimes. Like it doesn't feel, I don't know how to explain, like it feels like I'm just being crushed. And like I can't give myself 100% to like one thing, even though I would want to, because that 100% gets to that whatever sliver that gets taken from someone else makes them feel like they're like that. And it's just like, it's just a lot. It kind of pushes me into like, I want to be by myself. I want to have my things. Like, let me just have something to myself. And it makes me feel selfish. So then I start to give more of myself to like get to like that 110, 120. And like, I'm exhausted and I'm done.
Mm.
So I'm trying to get better at like delegating my time and just being more disciplined
Mm.
and like listening to God. Cause like a lot of the times I don't really seek him for like that refuge of like being full again. Like I just like, I can just keep going. I can just keep going. I just keep going. But I never like try to go back to him and get refilled. So I'm hopefully working on that.
Okay. I feel that, man. I feel that. That's good. Okay, Desi, what's up? How you feeling? If you can talk, I don't know if you can.
You said Desi?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me turn my camera on. So I feel like I'm over being sick. I'm not as sick as I was last week, but I can't sleep at night because I just been coughing. I went to the doctor yesterday. They said I have a sinus infection. But I'm just over being sick, for one. But I think outside of that, like I just feel like life real ghetto right now. Just going through the motions. Like I feel like it's been, I don't know. I think sometimes I don't understand why I'm going through things, but I feel like I'm going through them for a reason. I just don't know what that reason is. Just like as far as like my commute, my relationships, my friendships, like just everything, all the arenas of my life. I just feel like they're all like in a weird place, but I'm like trying to figure out what's the reason, what's going on. But other than that, I feel straight. I wasn't really having a good day today. As far as today goes, I'm really ready for today to be over. I'm over it. But other than that, yeah, I just feel like, life just been real ghetto lately, but at the end, it's just the silver lining. Like it's still a lot of blessings at the end of the day.
Feel that as well. This week has been a super long week. And so feels like this week has been a month specifically for me. But so I definitely feel that exhaustion and tired and over it and all of that too, kind of what you said, kind of, what Chris said as well. So I feel that. Okay. Mally.
I'm like, watch, she gonna be like Mally. Hadia is also here through FaceTime. She said she was just to speak as well.
I got you.
What did you like to say, Hadia?
Are we saying how we feel?
Yes.
So basically, with me, my thing is I just got through my final
She's breaking up.
season, my classes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
To get A's in my classes while managing my two jobs. But as I get closer to my graduation, I'm starting to feel like emotionally overwhelmed just because like any big event always triggers the fact that my dad's not going to be there. So I've been trying to like fight through that emotional strain while also like trying to make sure I'm maintaining myself for my job. And coming this summer, I'll have 2 summer classes I have to take because I'm really graduating summer, but they let all summer graduates graduate in May because they don't have a separate ceremony. And if you don't graduate in May, then you have to come back in December, and I'm not doing that. So it's kind of like it is me being finished because these last 2 classes, like nobody fails. It's really like if you show up, you're good kind of type classes. But it's still like I still have classes to prepare for while maintaining the 2 jobs. And it's just kind of getting stressful. And then I'm trying to like keep up with my family members who are coming. So I just been, and then on top of that, like I said, with my dad. So it's just been stressful, and I can just like feel it building up, but I'm trying to like not let it fall into like a whole like breakdown when I'm supposed to be like really happy. So
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's definitely praying for you as far as that goes, because that is a lot to shoulder like in this time frame.
from work.
I got you. Okay.
As far as me, dang, I wasn't even thinking about that, but now I'm finna think about that too. But I don't know. Today been a day. I feel like I was having a semi good week, and then today has just been terrible. Just
I I didn't
I feel
even
like-
think about my tip.
Oh Lord. I feel like I've been on the verge of breakdown all day, but I ain't broke down yet. So we're getting somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. It's just been a day. I just feel overwhelmed. So I'll retweet what mostly everybody was saying because I'm also there. So
Yeah.
she said she had a long day.
Yeah, I got you. It's heavy. I definitely feel it. Hey, Khalid, can you speak now? I don't know if you're able to speak. Oh, okay. I'm working, can't talk, guys. Sorry, but I'm good. Been having some depression episodes lately, but when I feel it, I usually pray immediately or watch a sermon or meditate, and it feels me. It helps me feel better. Working on my anxiety and just remaining myself. Reminding myself that my life is in God's hands. I guess you wrote a letter. I got you. Wrote a letter to my younger self today that helped me get out of some emotion. So overall, I'm okay. That's cool. That's a good exercise. I never, tried to like write to my younger self. And so I know you can't talk right now, but I would definitely love like to hear your perspective of what you got out of like, what you said to your younger self and stuff like that. But we can talk later on that too. But I definitely hear where you coming from. Terica, can you talk now?
Hey, I actually think that really is a dope idea. We should like
Gary.
kind of come together and write a letter to our younger selves.
Yeah, that's super dope.
When I was a teacher, I made that assignment. So to my students, they had to write a letter to their younger self and a letter to their future self.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I definitely want to do that like one day. I don't know if it'll be in person, if we can get in person, or like during a Bible study. That would be a cool concept idea to do. You got it, Terica.
Today has been a good day. This whole week has been pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but it's just been a pretty good week. I'm coming off of a high anxiety weekend. Last week I was feeling very discouraged, very doubting, like pretty much myself and just everything. So this week is a lot better. Just emotionally, spiritually, I just feel good. Nothing necessarily happened grand or anything, but I just feel good.
Okay. That's good to hear. I'm glad that you're able to have a good day. Or a good week, specifically because we obviously ain't. So, but that's great to hear, and I'm happy to hear that for you, especially with everything else that's been going on.
Thank
Of course, Kwane, if you can speak.
Yeah, so we're just talking about how we feel right now, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm with Terica. I've had a pretty good day, pretty good week. Nothing spectacular happened. Well, I got my package of clothes today, and that usually makes me really happy because I don't know, I like packages. So that was an extra boost for today. And I really just been working on time management. Like that's been a big lesson that I've been learning this week. But overall, pretty good week.
Okay. Cool. Desiree, I don't know if you can speak.
Hey guys, sorry y'all are gonna hear a lot of background noise. I'm bathing Braylon and this boy thinks he's at Whitewaters right now. But I am doing okay. I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now just because I'm trying to balance a lot. I didn't tell you guys, some of you guys saw it on my Instagram, but I got approved for my apartment. So me and Braylon, we have gotten settled in our home and Lord, that's a really good feeling. But just trying to balance a lot, right? Y'all hear him, like he swears that he's at Whitewaters right now. Just trying to balance a lot, but overall doing good. Y'all see him. Yeah, overall doing good, just trying to balance it all.
Yeah, I got you, man. Again, congrats on the apartment and everything. It looks beautiful. My man is swimming. Yo. Oh, bro, that's funny. I don't know, Dave, if you're able to speak any. I know you was working and stuff. If you wanted to say anything. Oh, and we got Ty coming in as well. She working.
You said my name?
Yes.
Oh. I was over here just working. Y'all probably looking at my face crazy. I'm trying to think how I feel. I'm eating Cheerios dry. I don't know. I feel like what I was saying earlier to Desi, I just feel like during the week when I'm working, I feel like detached from all of the stuff that I'm supposed to be thinking about that's not related to my work. So that's been my main thing. It's just trying to figure out how I can not get so hyper focused, like tunnel vision on the work that I'm doing all day. Cause I'm literally still working. And I can have like casual conversation that are kind of like mindless throughout the day, but I feel like I don't really start thinking or like investing into other things in my life until the weekend. So I'm trying to be better at that and managing what I'm pouring into and not giving so much of my mental state to my work. Other than that, I don't know. I wasn't prepared.
All
I
good.
didn't do the readings.
Yeah, I got you. Hey Ty, we just saying like how we feel like, you know, today, this week, whatever the case may be. So if you are able to speak, we would love to hear how you feeling currently.
Yeah, hey. As far as how I'm feeling, I feel okay. I feel actually pretty good this week. I went on vacation this past weekend, and I think that was kind of the refresher I needed because this week is going pretty well as far as getting everything done on my task list. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's been kind of a struggle for me to find a balance between working all the time, but also having the time to do the things I want to do for myself. So,
That's good. That's good to hear. And I'm happy that you was having a good week. All right, cool. Well, you know, we're able to hear from everybody. And so I don't know if everybody's able to see the reactions, but there's like a, oh, and then there's like a heart. So my first question is, you know, with those who have had a bad week, or even if you didn't have a bad week, you had a good week, did you feel supported at all, or did you feel by yourself? So if you felt like you've been supported or had any level of support throughout that time frame, you can put a heart. And then if you didn't feel like you had any support or you felt by yourself, you could put it like that. Okay. Okay. For those who put, yo, for those who put this or didn't put a heart, is that if you feel like that's a constant thing that happens, like if you feel like you always are lonely or by yourself and you don't feel that support, put the same thing. Or if you feel like you usually have support, but at this time you didn't, put the heart. So if you always feel like you're lonely or don't have support, put this. If you feel like you do at times, but this time you didn't, put the heart. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mally, I want to talk to you specifically, like when it comes to that. So you said like usually you feel alone, like or not supported in time frames. I got you, Kendrick. What talk that through, or like kind of like speak on that? Like, how does that, being like always feeling that way, or, you know, what's your thoughts on all of that? Just being supported or feeling that way?
I feel like I have conditioned myself to feel like I have to be strong for everybody else. So I don't allow myself to like be weak in a sense, or show that to other people, or show people weakness. So it like conditions me to feel like I just got to carry stuff on my own. Like, and I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm burdening other people if I like talk about my issues or problems, or like if I do immediately after, I'm just like, why did I just tell them all my business? Like, why did I do that? Like, and then I don't know if that makes me feel worse or not, but I think it kind of does sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Well, I know it's like just being the oldest has a big part of it, and just like a life. And I feel like I grew up early because I went through a lot young. So I don't know.
Mm.
And it's just been continuing, and it's really hard to get out of.
I got you. So she said, okay, Drad, because I was just talking about that with my sister. I also relate to a certain extent. Why a certain extent, Chris? Okay. I got you. When you do get it, just like come off mute and then I got you. I feel that, Mally. I agree 100%. I think I feel the same way at times. Something that I'm trying to work through and work on, because I've come to realize that there are people that will help me if I allow them to, but it be, you know, more so me and being prideful of not trying to burden people or come off like I'm needy or whatever the case may be. And so I kind of like take on more than I have to. But how do you usually get out of those places? Like when you feel like low and then you don't feel support, do you ever find a resolution to get out, or is it more so things that you compartmentalize and then you know, kind of move past it and never really deal with it?
Okay, because while we unpacking this deep, Jay, I feel like it's a mixture. Some stuff I compartmentalize and just put it away, or I can just like, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, put it away, the emotions or how I'm feeling, and then other things, just praying and like worship helps me a lot most of the time. Just listening to music, like literally, I listened to worship music all day today. So I was like, can't listen to nothing else. I was just building a playlist because that's how much I was listening to. But I feel like those are the main things. The devotional's been helping me a lot, but yeah, I feel like what you said is a big pride thing.
I feel you. I agree. And I think that all the older siblings have been saying the same thing too. So that's also interesting. Kwame, what's up?
So, okay, what was I going to say? So, okay, for those who feel like if you tell your emotions or you tell how you feel to somebody else, it's burdening them, do you feel like when other people come to you with their emotions that they're a burden to you to an extent? That can be for anybody that want to answer.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yes, absolutely. I can't even express. First of all, just to go back to what Mally was saying, I'm in a space where I want selective support, right? I don't want everybody to just feel like they can say things, because I feel like to a point, for me personally, it becomes intrusive. And I just don't trust everyone's opinion, to be honest. And I don't know, going with like what we were talking about with boundaries and stuff, I feel like that's something like right now I'm really dealing with. A lot of people who have the gift of listening and who's capable of like receiving well from people, sometimes you get in a weird pocket where people take advantage of that and forget that it's an equal exchange when we're having like support is an exchange. It's not on a scale and I'm just going to keep piling stuff on, and then it's like one part of the scale just lowers and the other one is lifted up. But what happens with that other part? You know what I mean? So I feel like it does get difficult sometimes. I know, especially like being the oldest or having any form of like a leadership position, or even if you're like the strong friend in your friend group, it can kind of get like that. And that's hard because it's like you go home and you all, you know, everyone just pours and pours and pours, and then you're just left with a whole bunch of heaviness. So I feel like it's important to find ways to kind of release those things, but also find those people who can pour back into you, or having that time with God to do so. What was the original question? I think I answered Kwame's. What was the original? What was the original question, Jay?
So the original question was just like, you know, how do you get out of those places? Like when you be feeling like, man, like low and like not supported or whatever, like how do you get out of the places? Do you actually like find a resolution to get out, or do you more so compartmentalize and then like move on?
I think for me, I do both, but I really enjoy my solitude. But that can get dangerous with me because my solitude turns into isolation, and then me not really wanting to be bothered, and then feeling like I can get myself out of whatever I'm feeling. And that just comes from just the mentality of just like independence and feeling like, you know, having to take care of myself and stuff. So that's kind of where that comes from. That's how I deal with it. But I have found people who I can, you know, openly express myself without judgment. And they can, and the most important part, they can gauge when it's like, she just wants to feel heard and be seen. Or like, maybe let me give my 2 cents. Because I feel like there's an art to that. And you know, my close friends, they get it. They get it. Yeah.
I definitely feel that, man. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so when I said to a certain degree, what I was more so kind of thinking is like, in some ways, it's like I have some people I'm a bit more open with, but not in everything. You know, and I'm gonna say this is probably something that probably a lot of us guys struggle with, not all of us, but being emotionally guarded, for example. That's a big one. I don't really talk to anyone about that one at all. And it's kind of led me even in some ways to kind of just stop talking to certain individuals, or to be secretive with certain individuals in my life, even. And to answer the question about compartmentalizing or just kind of finding a resolution, most of the times it's compartmentalizing. I'm starting to go more towards a resolution now, but most of the times it's compartmentalizing.
That's good, man. What was the term you said? That you say emotionally guarded. I feel that. I think that you're not wrong by saying that. I think that a lot of guys feel that. I think Chris, he was about to say something when you said that.
Yeah, I think it's just like a tough thing, because I think I struggle with that emotionally guarded part, but I don't explain. I struggle with it a lot because like most people I don't let in, because it's just like I don't want to burden you, and I usually end up being the person, like, even though I don't talk that much, it's probably because I'm the listener most of the time in most of my relationships, and I enjoy it for the most part. But then sometimes like, okay, well, I'm burdening them with my like feelings and emotions, and it's just like too much for them to handle. Because it's like, also I like struggle with expressing myself sometimes because some of the things that I think about and some of the things that I've been through require a lot of context. And I'd be so scared for people to judge me for the past version of me. It's not the present one, but like a lot of the things require to know the past version to understand why I'm this way now. So it's just like, it's a lot to unpack. There's too much to go into. Let me just listen to you, carry what I got to talk about. And then like, hopefully at some point I deal with it later or get a therapist, you know? And it's a very weighty, it's weighty, like it carries weight. Like I don't understand, I don't even know how to explain other than just weight. And it's not like a weight where like it crushes you in a way, and like you can't, every time you're carrying it and another thing like stack on top of it, stacks on top of it. So like that guard turns into this 1,000-pound armor instead of something that you're just trying to shield yourself a little bit from. And it's just wild.
So yeah. I feel that what you were saying, and also Key, you were saying that too, as far as like people taking advantage of your like listening, or like, you know, you can get into spaces where you become the listener, you become the person that, you know, people go to. And it's like, it wouldn't be such a problem if you feel like it was reciprocated properly. Like, you know, if it felt like it was a 50-50 thing and not like a 75-25 or 95-5, you know, like, then it will feel more so like I don't have a problem doing this. But when you get to a place where you start getting so much emotional baggage from people, and people dump on you and dump on you, it's kind of like jumping into like a pool with like all your clothes on and then getting out and having to walk around with like wet clothes. And it's like, it started getting heavy and you like want to take them off, but it's like, you can't. Like, that's how it kind of can feel at times, where it's like, you're holding so much from people, you know, so much about people's lives, and they know nothing about you. You know, like you ask them like anything, they have no idea who you are, what you're going through. Like, your dog just died yesterday. They have no idea because they don't ask about you when they're talking to you. They don't see about you. They don't, you know, the conversation is always pouring into them. And what's up, Key?
Okay, but if I'm honest with all of you, sometimes when I don't want to share my life with people, it's like, how dare you? And it's like, bro, I don't, you haven't even curated this environment for me to say like, girl, that was fine. Like, what do you think I'm going to say to you? And again, okay, and this is maybe a question for y'all, because a lot of people will immediately tell me their life story, and maybe they just feel I make it comfortable for them to do so. But then it's like, all right, now you go. And it's like, I don't know about that. But I don't know if that's bad. I don't know, but I don't feel good about it, you know? But then it's like, people try to force the information out, and it's like, bro, I just cannot. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But again, I feel like it's people losing the art of like exchange and like trust is earned type of a thing. Like, you may trust me with all your heart, but I can't say that about you. I'm sorry, not yet. I mean, maybe one day, you know. Yeah, I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but yeah.
Definitely can relate, man. I think curating the environment is so important. Curating, like literally like curating the safe space of communication is so important, because it's like, if you can't be somebody that, one, has never done it and then expect for people to do it, because at the end of the day, they're going to be like, yes, literally, like the safe space of communication. Like there has to be a level of trust where it comes down to like, I know, like you said, Key, originally, like, you know, you were able to listen to me. Sometimes I just want to talk. Sometimes I want advice or whatever. And sometimes I want to be able to just feel like, you know, I've been heard or expressed. And I think that, like, you know, a lot of times we have possibly, some people haven't, but a lot of lot of us have experienced like communication trauma, where like you might have gotten to a place where you thought that this was a safe space and the safe space wasn't that. And then you got burnt in some type of way where it kind of backfired on you. And so now you're super closed off on communicating because of the fact that you don't think that you can to the same extent. It's like it gets tainted in a way where it's like your idea of communicating to a specific person, people in general, is just completely off because you don't want to feel that feeling of I wasn't heard when I tried, or, you know, I got to a point where, you know, I mustered up the courage to say this and it became an argument, or it became something where now I got shame and I got, you know, a level of judgment placed on me. And so that's a hard place to be in, especially when you don't talk already like that. Learning communication styles is super important to creating safe spaces. Desi, you had something?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, I kind of feel the opposite. I sometimes hate when it's like people will tell you like, hey, like you can open up to me. You do like are in this arena where you do open up to them, and it's a situation where they do feel like it's a burden. And it's like, well, if you feel like it's a burden, or if this is gonna be a problem with me talking to you, then I kind of wish that would be communicated beforehand, because I'm a person like, I don't want to put anything on you or stress you out or anything. So if it's, I guess like if it's going to be a problem, like, I don't know, I don't want to share if it's going to like cause you more stress or cause you to, I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I got you. So I got a question for you. So like, when it gets to those spaces and like, you know, you can identify, I don't know if you have certain situations that you just kind of like thought about, like when you like communicated like that point, but like in those points, I mean, or in those times, what was like the lead up to it? Like, was it like oh, like you can trust me, and then like it, like piece by piece, like you was giving it to them? Was it like they said you can trust me, and then like, you know, you kind of like poured because you was in a emotional, vulnerable space? Like, what was like the steps that were taken in order to, before you got to the point where you felt like they didn't want to hear from you no more?
I think in a sense, like when you're around people or people just start to learn you, they know when something's wrong with you, you know? So they learn like when you're upset, when you're mad, like even if you keep saying nothing's wrong. So sometimes I feel like people will be like, you know, like what's wrong? Like, let's just say if it's Kendrick, like, Kendrick, I know you, like, what's wrong? Like, and he's like, nothing. And then they tell you to, you know, like they try to get you to pour into them. And then once you do, you can tell like they like over you telling them how you feel. And it's like, I didn't really want to say it. This is why I didn't want to do it to begin with. And then now it puts me in a place where now I don't want to open up again, or next time a situation, and you might not even be feeling like that next time, but now I'm feeling like next time, I don't know if I can open up to you because I feel like the last time you felt it was a burden.
I feel that. I think it's situational. You know, I think that there's certain times, and it's also just knowing what people can handle, you know, because sometimes everybody can't handle everything, you know, just being able to understand like, okay, like this person can steward specific things. For example, like, you know, I got a lot of friends or whatever, and there's certain friends that I know like I can deep dive because there's a level of trust that has been grown over a span of time where, you know, I piece by piece, like, you know, tried to like feed them stuff and they were able to handle it. And then a little bit more they can handle more, a little bit more they can handle more. And I realized they can handle that. But then there's certain people, like you said, that I've, you know, gave, you know, what I thought was just a little bit, and they weren't able to manage that and handle that. So I think that it just comes off of too, just knowing who you're dealing with. Like, you know, Kendrick. So, you know, obviously I'm pretty sure like, you know, at least like, you know, off of y'all conversation, what he can and can't handle, you know, just off of y'all relationship and the dynamic y'all have had up until this point. And I think that a lot of times, especially us as believers, when we get into spaces where it's like, you know, especially like if you're moving somewhere, like for instance, let's use Key, for instance, and like the fact that like she's moved to a whole different state. So let's say like, you know, Key ain't know nobody inside Georgia or whatever the case may be. A lot of times we get to places where we can feel like, you know, an outcast. And so we are looking for the acceptance or what we had previously. And so that's something that we're craving in conversation, relationships, whatever the case may be. And we crave it so much versus somebody who, let's say a Kwane that was already here in Georgia and she have her friends and been here her whole life. And Key can come off to Kwane like, hey, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to just tell you about like, or I want to be a safe space for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to, not saying that he is saying like, you know, be a safe space for me, but it's like she's more eager than a Kwane who's already have an established friend group and stuff. I know I've experienced that where it's like, you know, I moved around a lot as a kid. So it's like, because I moved around a lot, I was always seeking like that friend group where I can be like, man, like, let me establish something where like people can hear me and know me and feel the way that they feel from me. And I think that's where a lot of my burn came as a kid, because I was seeking that so much and people already had their friend groups, they already was established. And I just wanted to like, you know, fit in, but my fitting in was more so of an aggressive approach to them because I craved it a lot more than they did. And so I had to learn when to actually like, you know, speak more than what I was doing. Cause I was an oversharer at a time. Like there was a time frame where I just shared a lot. Like you knew my life story 2 times out of meeting me, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's not comfortable being that way. And so I don't know what the experience was for you that you can kind of identify or like see in those scenarios and stuff. But I do think that it's a discernment aspect of, can you handle this? Are you willing to handle this? Or are you invested enough in me where I know this is something that I can grow towards with you? Because I don't think that everybody can establish that at the door. Oh, I didn't even see the chat. I'm sorry. Yes, it's discerning if people are capable of stewarding you well, and that can be dependent on seasons of a lifetime. Yeah, I agree. I think that like that steward aspect is like, it's hard to balance at times, especially when like people are craving that from you and they're saying like, what's wrong, Desi? Like, you know, tell me. And it's like, you seem like you just like want to know, but like you really ain't want to know like that. So I don't know, it's a very balancing act, if that makes sense. But I don't know if anybody else like felt that way or if that even made sense to you, Desi, or whatever the case may be, because I can relate to that.
Yeah, I feel like it did make sense. I feel like I just feel both ways. Like I agree with what y'all said, but then I also feel the way I said as well.
I feel that. Anybody else got like a perspective on that situation specifically? Oh, or anything else? Go ahead.
Honestly, I didn't really have much to say, but I was gonna pose a question because, like, again, I think a lot of it is like creating the space, but also like stewardship is being brought up a lot. So, is there a way to teach somebody to listen or teach somebody to understand you or receive the things that you give them well? Like, I like Jay's approach of like the piecing it, where it's like, okay, here's the small thing, see if you can handle that, and then like let's see where we go from there. But it's sometimes like you be in relationships with people where they need to do that for it to progress. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it can't just be like, oh, well, if they don't, it's okay. But like sometimes like it's necessary for the relationship to be where it needs to be or where you want it to be, whether it be family, whether it be like your partner. Like I think it's just, I don't know. Like, so I'm really more so asking this saying, but like, is there a way to teach or is there a way to like show someone how to listen to you? Because like or even because I think it's sometimes like weird or awkward to be like, hey, I just want you to listen to me right now and don't say anything. That seems rude to me. Like I feel like I'll be hurt. Like, then you don't want my opinion, you don't care about what I gotta say. Like, so I just like sit here and do nothing, or do I just exist? But you know, I'll let y'all.
That's a good question. Go ahead, Kwane.
So I feel like it comes down to setting boundaries. Like there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries with people on as far as like teaching them like how to listen to you. I think it's more so just telling them what you want them to do at this moment. So if you have an issue on your heart, like, and you feel like you're in a space to share with them, it's like, hey, I'm going to share this with you, da, 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 da. But if you're in a space where you only want to tell them parts of it, then you have that right to tell them parts of what you want them to hear. Or also, like, I think in order for people to, what's the saying, like, you have to show people how to treat you. And I think that just comes with just being in a relationship with people, setting those boundaries. And then, of course, as the relationship progresses, like, you're letting down some walls. I don't know. I just heard boundaries. Like, that's really what kind of came to mind.
Okay. With those boundaries, so you're saying more so like teaching people how to, like, what your boundaries are in order for them to understand you, or like yeah, explain.
Yeah. So teaching people, like, because I mean, you can't necessarily teach people how to listen. I mean, you could tell somebody, like, hey, I just want to talk to you. I don't need any advice right now. And you say it in a way that you feel is best to say it. But I think ultimately that is a boundary that you're setting with them. Like, hey, I want to just pour out right now. I don't need you to give me advice. Or, hey, I do need advice on this. And I don't think anything is wrong with saying that. And also, like y'all was saying before, discernment, like choosing who you tell what to, because some people are just good listeners. Some people are better at giving advice than others. So figuring out those people as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead, Keith.
I'm not the best communicator. That's just a given. I often just, it depends. With the people I trust, I often just, like, how should I say this? Because I am really selective with who I, like, share my life with. Once I have those people, I just, like, be pouring, and it's just like a overflow. So I just go and go. So that's my problem. But one thing that my friends and I kind of do with each other is just, and it's like what Kanye said, just letting each other know, like, if I don't have the emotional capacity for you right now, then I'm gonna just say that, and we can, like, circle back tomorrow morning or at another time when, like, I'm in the space to want to listen to you, because I feel like people have to want to do that. If somebody feels like they're forced to just sit there and just hear you, then nothing's gonna, like, I feel like it's an unproductive conversation. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not fair to the other person, because you're getting what you need, but then they're just like your dumping ground. So I feel like, I don't know, communicating, like, if you don't have the capacity to do so, is important.
Quick question before Kendrick. I'm sorry, man. Please remember your question. But with that,
Yeah.
have you always been, even though y'all established that with your friends, have you always been receptive to that, as far as, like, that was established, but you don't feel any type of way when they say that? Or is it more so you don't feel some type of way when it happens with them, but, like, with other situations, you can feel some type of way when it's like that? Like, is there any difference? Or
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say all the time I'm like, yeah, girl, talk tomorrow. Like, sometimes I'll be like, dang, I really wanted to talk to somebody. But again, if I respect you and love you, I'm gonna respect that boundary that you're setting with me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna feel some type of way. I feel like that's normal, but I guess you come to learn once you, like, keep implementing it. You come to learn, like, you know what? They're not rejecting me. They're taking care of themselves at the end of the day, and I gotta respect that. I don't know if that really answers the question, but yeah, it sucks sometimes when you want to talk and somebody like, I don't have the emotional capacity for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely what Key was saying. Like, sometimes your feelings are gonna be a little hurt, because I mean that the situation is very important to you, obviously, in that moment. And if they're not able to receive it, it's sometimes like, dang. But I always take it back to, like, okay, maybe God, this is my sign to, like, come to you, or, like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I just need to just hold on or something, like, because I always think it's always a reason for something. So if my friend not able to receive at that moment, it's a reason for that. But overall, in the moment, your feelings will be a little hurt, but you can get over that, being that you are their friend. And like he was saying, like, you can only have to respect that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wait, real quick. Sorry, Kendrick. I'm cutting you off really quick, but we talked about this, Kwame, because a lot of people don't understand that. And I was just telling somebody that's in this Bible study this morning, because they called me. He was just telling me all the stuff. And I'm like, did you talk to God about this? Like, did you actually pray about this and like have a moment with Jesus? Because you shouldn't be talking to me if you did not do that first. And I feel like that's where a lot of the dumping and manipulation comes from, because y'all not, because I am this person too, but I'm not taking the proper steps of, all right, let me talk to God about this, and then let me seek my counsel from my community. And like you said, you mentioned the friend thing. A lot of it has to do with, understanding if God's your friend, your first friend, you wouldn't be so reliant on the people who are earthly beings like you, who do not have it all right, to be this emotional pot for you. Because then if they don't receive you well or whatever, you're going to be butt hurt. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Go ahead, Kendrick, you got it.
Okay, so my question is, and the first thing I'll say is, and this for Kia and for anybody else that want to answer. So what if a person spiritual level is not as high as yours? Like, what if, I want to say, if it's safe to say, what if God have let that person, or that person feel like God done let them down before, so they don't feel like they can just turn to God? And then my real question is, like, what if they come to talk to you and you do have that boundary set of, hey, I can't talk to you right now, my emotional level is not able to talk to you right now about what you want to talk about? But what if you talking to them was like a life-saving conversation that they needed? And what if the whole situation turned? It's like, how would you live with or how would you feel if, dang, even though I was taking care of myself, what if I would have just took an hour and just talked to them? That conversation could have saved them or something. And that's for anybody that want to answer.
I got an answer, because I actually have dealt with this. And this is like further in the earlier stages of 1-800. For me personally, for the second part of your question, I can discern whether this is a conversation that needs to be had, or if it's something that someone needs to figure out and sit with on their own. Because like Jay said, sometimes it's a 2-second, God, please help me, to then get an answer. All right, let me call the closest person I know to God. I will never, ever, ever be, that's where people will be like, become gods for you. And I don't want that. Nor do I want to enable or coddle a person, right? So I can discern if it's something that, like, a conversation that needs to be had in that moment, or like I literally will wake up 3 a.m. and be on the phone with people in this group, and will sit and pray with you and go through the stage. So I feel like you really have to discern if you're being led by the Spirit to do so. In terms of like spiritual maturity, I feel like we shouldn't base our interactions on if somebody's spiritually mature or not. If you know Christ like I know Christ, then we can talk about Christ. You know what I mean? I feel like I understand if someone may not be at the same level as I am, but I can still speak to you on a matter and help guide, or at least show some sort of direction or help in any way. You know what I mean? I feel like spiritual maturity really shouldn't be like the basis of conversation and interaction. Because again, I feel like then people are looking at you as somebody who has all the answers for them and who can be the person to get them out of something. And then that just gets real messy real fast. I don't know if that answered the first part, but in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said like some really good things that I want to make sure that people heard. One, again, I think that a lot of us in the group have done like the whole, oh, I'm not on this like comparing your spiritual maturity to other people. And I think that that can get to a place where now you become intimidated and feel like you can't do certain things in progressing inside your own faith because your faith doesn't look like somebody else's. And it's like, it's never going to look that way. You know, like just because you feel like you can't pray or whatever doesn't mean that you can't pray, because at the end of the day, you're just talking to God. Like if you talk to God like regular, like, you know, with Ebonics or whatever, that's not a problem. You don't have to have a super spiritual way of doing it in order to make you feel as if like, you know, you've achieved a level of rank inside like your spirituality. And so I think that, you know, when we can strip away that, you know, man, I'm not that spiritual, because I think that that's something that holds us back from even moving forward, doing things. Like, I think that, you know, some people will be like, man, I don't want to pray because, you know, I know my prayer is not going to sound like, you know, this, or I don't want to, you know, even say something on this point because I don't want to sound like I'm wrong. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Like, this is a breeding ground for us to grow. And this is a place where we're supposed to be able to be comfortable talking through our insecurities, talking through our, you know, frustrations with God, talking through our non-understandings of things, so we can get to a level of commonality through the word. But then two, the other thing that you said, like, you know, not looking at people as saviors, because I think that a lot of times we kind of, like we said inside the group chat, like, you know, we'll say, God, like, you know what I'm dealing with, or like, you know, you just expect that God just knows, which he does, but you're not talking to him about it. So it's like you're going through something being like, well, God knows I'm going through this and he ain't answered my prayer, or he ain't did anything about it. So I'm gonna just turn to somebody else and see if they can be my God, you know, to help me or get me through situations. And I think that that's something that you put an unnecessary pressure on somebody to be your savior when that's not who they're called to be. But then two, it gets to a place where now you're seeking people way more than you're seeking God. And that's not what we want to do. We want to be able to actually seek God, actually try to find scripture on it, actually be trying to like find the answers for ourselves inside the Bible, because that will lead to our growth when we're able to figure out things and have the revelation through God speaking to us through scripture and through prayer. But I don't think that that's something that we go forward with. And I'm saying us as in even me too. Like, you know, sometimes there's times where I'll be like, you know, I'm gonna go and call somebody that gives me great advice, and they gave me great advice the last 2, 3, 4 times. So, you know, they give me great advice, I'm gonna seek them before I ask God anything. And sometimes I think what Kwame said is true. Like, it might get to a place where they might not be available because God is wanting you to turn to him instead of somebody else. Great points with everything, and great question, Kendrick. Like, that was an amazing question. Did anybody else want to tackle that? And Kendrick, if you can, like, just repeat your question so, you know, people can kind of know.
Yeah, the first part was, how do you, if a person don't have that spiritual level and feel like they can't turn to God because they feel like God may have let them down in the past, so they don't talk to God first, how do you go by dealing with that? But then how do you go by dealing with the boundaries that you set of feeling like I can't talk to you at this moment? And what if that was like a life-saving conversation that they needed?
Anybody else want to, like, you know, tackle that or like speak to that in any type of capacity or talk about anything they've heard? What's up, Kwame? Or Desi?
Yeah, I just,
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, no, Desi can go.
I just was gonna say, hold on 1 second. I was gonna say that I never feel this way. Like, so I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm just listening to what you're, and I know people do feel this way, but when people come to me with like problems or or like wanting to talk about like different, I never feel like it's a burden. Like I just naturally want to help in any way I can. So like I never feel like it's too much, or like I don't know, like I never get that like feeling. So this is like, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but it's kind of like, as I'm hearing it, it's just kind of, I don't know, like not surprising, because I do know people that feel that way, because I have friends that feel that way. But I just personally don't really feel a burden when people come talk to me. I'm just like, let me try to help them and I can.
Oh, I feel you. And I think that that's also a spiritual power, you know, like I think that everybody's not, that's like what makes pastors like pastors, you know, the ability to shepherd multiple people, hear from multiple people, understand multiple people, you know what I'm saying, and actually be there for people, because that's not meant for everybody. You know, some people are solely meant to teach. Some people are solely meant to comfort. Some people are solely meant to like bridge people back and forth. And so I think that, you know, the way that you are expressing that, like, you know, you don't feel that burden is powerful, because at the end of the day, like, you know, if you try, just like how Kendrick said, like, you know, I feel the same way. And I try to say people, that's a calling. That's something that God placed on your heart for you to go out and do that. And again, and this is no, like, you know, like judgment on anybody of how like you feel, if you do feel like it's a burden or not, because at the end of the day, none of us is Jesus. So it's like we're all human enough to go through situations and have human emotions. Like, you know, Jesus felt burden, you know, so it's not a problem to feel burden. Like Jesus was sweating blood, you know, when he was about to go on the cross. And because of that burden of holding all of that weight. So I don't think that it's a problem to feel burden, but I do think that it is, I'm sorry, you know, we got automatic lights. Hold up, gotta walk around. But it is something where if that is on your heart to do that, and if that's something that, you know, you feel like you're led and called to do, walk in that 100%, because that's what God is calling you to be inside his kingdom. And so don't know who had their hand up or was about to talk. Kwame, I don't know if you still wanted to talk, or you was commenting on that, or you was commenting on something different. I don't know.
No, I was trying to remember what I was gonna say before I said it. Yeah, I'm gonna come back because I can't remember.
Okay. Anybody else wanted to, like, you know, speak on that, or in any type of way? I saw some people. Go ahead.
All right, y'all might not like what I'm going to have to say, but I love that she brought up Jesus, because it's not feeling burdened about people. Like, I understand I have a gift to shepherd people. That's why people feel comfortable talking to me and stuff. I didn't always welcome that gift, because I was just like, bruh, I don't want to talk. I'm very introverted. But like Jay was saying, I feel like Jesus always went away by himself, or went away with his 3 homies, and was like, I need to recharge and reset. So it's not the fact that it's not necessarily like burden, but setting healthy boundaries so that you aren't at capacity. Like, this is something I'm currently walking in. And I feel like my problem was, because I do have a heart for people like you, Desi, my problem is that I wanted to save people, but I can't. And part of my listening skills was, all right, I'm listening to help save them and fix the thing that they're telling me about, which I cannot do whatsoever. So I had to unlearn that behavior, because that was leaving me up at 3 in the morning and just answering calls and not respecting myself enough to be like, you know what? You don't have the power to help them with what they're struggling with. Although you have the heart and you feel the heaviness for them, what they need and what they're seeking is what's within you. But that gift that's in you, they can get that too. And it circles all the way back to Jesus. Like, hey, I know I give the good words and everything, but I promise you it's really coming off the dome because that Holy Spirit is talking to you right now. It's not even me. You can really get this from anybody on the street, to be honest, if they have the same thing that I have on the inside of me. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of going through, unlearning that savior fixer-ness.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kalia. I'm gonna speak on that because I agree as well. Go ahead.
I think I understand or agree kind of with Kendrick's like second question. I know for me, even when I do feel like when someone's, whatever they want to talk to me about is a burden, I still kind of listen because I don't want it to be like that one conversation that could have potentially like saved your life, I guess. And I know like I've been in that position, like I was, like where I've been suicidal before, like several years ago. And I went to like one person and had a random conversation. And that random conversation, like, changed my whole life, or not really changed my whole life, but it talked me out of something that I was planning on doing that same day. And I can't imagine like the burden that I put on that person, bringing that to them. But I don't know if her telling me that it was too much of a burden for her to listen to my problem right there in that moment, how that would have altered my life, like in the most literal sense. So I think I get kind of what Kendrick's saying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, if we just being like, honest, and this is a safe space, so it's like, this is a non-judgment zone if you on the left or the right or in the middle of the situation. But, it is a thing that does get heavy, you know what I'm saying? So like Kalia, like think about like, that situation. Let's say if we are taking that situation, but then multiply that, and then like, multiply that with everybody like coming to you at that. Like I know when I started working full-time in ministry, that amplified so much. Like, we kind of average like, around like that 20-25 range, but like there's been like 60, 70 people that have come through like 1-800 Pray For Me, since it started 2 years ago, 70, 80 people. And just imagine like even just having a relationship with all of them, you know what I'm saying? And then being able to hear every single one, because I had that savior complex, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen to everything. And I still do, you know what I'm saying? Because I love people, I love people where it's like, I want to help any and everybody, no matter how high, how low it is, I'm trying to help. But I think what changed over time and what, God has, shown me specifically is, like he said, my accessibility, because I can't pour from an empty cup. So it's like when you feel dry and you feel empty and you feel like you pour, and you don't feel like it's being poured back into you. And then on top of that, that not only affects you as a person, but the people that surrounded by you, you know what I'm saying? Like that messed up, that was, bleeding into my relationship. It was bleeding into my family dynamics, my friend dynamics. So it's like, it's a balancing act, like how Key said, and we talked about it last week with, how God set boundaries, and then also Jesus identified what boundaries are like with the disciples. Like he walked around with 12 people, but he was the closest with 3. He prayed with 3. He was able to go and isolate. And yes, he was saving the world and helping people. But at the end of the day, he did need to be away and remove himself in the situation in order for him to get that level of comfort in knowing that I'm still getting poured into, whether that's being poured into by God or being poured into by my inner circle of that 3. And so I think that it is a balance where if that is something with you, if that's something that you have the heart for people and pastoring or like, shepherding people, you do have to not only like, yes, do that and, love people and pour, but you do have to set a boundary like how we were talking about. So it doesn't get to a place where any and everybody has the access to you to take, because that can get exhausting to people. And then you can get to a depression yourself solely off of that. And I don't know how many people have experienced that, but you know, it is a real thing and it can get real dark. Day, I saw you got on mute. I didn't know if you had a comment.
Well, I was thinking about something, but then I didn't know how to support my, it wasn't an argument, but I didn't know how to tie it up with a bow. So I was like, I don't know if I want to say it. But it made me think of, he's gonna laugh at this, but it made me think of the piece play that you guys did. But like one of the things that Pastor Barnett emphasized at the end was like Jesus speaking to Mary Magdalene and saying like, you need to let me go and like let me release me so that I can go and do the work that God has called me to do. And that way it ownership now is being passed along. And so it made me think of that. I was trying to figure out how I was looping that in, but I think ultimately it's like people are there to be there when you need them to lean on, but people are not there to be your spines and your backbones. And so a lot of the people that have the wonderful gift that I do not possess to be like stewards of their time and their words for the betterment of people's like mental health, opportunity, all of that stuff. Those people are there to ultimately build the bridge for you to go to Jesus and go to God with that, and not be your strength. And so I think it makes me reflect on like, let me go so that I can do the work in someone else's life, and so that you can also do that work in someone else's life through what you have learned from the relationship. Because oftentimes like it's easy to get burdened with the idea of what if I am like the conversation that saves someone's life. That's really, really heavy to take on the weight of. And it's also not necessarily the calling over people's life who are built or who have the blessing and like the strength of relationship and like support. I don't feel like that's necessarily people's calling is to be the last conversation, you know. And I say that in a sensitive way because it's a very sensitive topic, and it's very sensitive for people who have been in those spaces, and even for people who have been in situations where they didn't have those conversations with people. But it's also an unfair expectation for people to be available for every conversation that has the potential to, I don't know how to word that in a sensitive matter, but it makes me think back to like, this is a really childish example, but like I have two younger brothers, and when they were dating people in like middle school and high school, they would date like young girls, and the girls would like, whenever they would get to breaking up and stuff like that, the young girls would say like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do XYZ as like burdens to keep them in situations. And that's a very like obviously left field pull from it, but even in those situations it's hard to have someone communicate in a way that allows someone to be supportive but also allow them their own space to step away from something. And I think that in a different context, in a more nuanced context, it's harder when you're a person of faith and someone who genuinely does have love for people and wants to be able to be there for people. It sets high expectations on yourself to do it, because then you also are eating yourself up when you know you need to step away for your own good, but you're not, because you're reminding yourself of thoughts like, what if I can save this person with my conversations? Because ultimately, the reality of it is, Jay, you're not going to be the thing that's saving someone. Key, you're not going to be the thing that's saving someone. Chris, Mally, Desi, like, we aren't going to be the thing that is saving someone. It's going to be the spirit that is driving the stuff that we're saying. And that's why the goal should be the bridge and not the message that or like the verbiage that's being shared. I don't know. That was just my thinking, but I'm still working. So back to my hole I go.
Well, nah. Go ahead, Idea.
So I was just gonna say I feel like there's a lot at work because with the populations I work with, a lot of times like they do need a lot of encouragement, and I spend a lot of time like in the rooms and with my patients, and like they share things with me, and I always, of course, say something uplifting. I never really get into Jesus talk because unless like it's like an older lady and she's already talking about Jesus, because I never want to assume or anything like that, and that can like close the bridge because not everybody has had a good, you know, experience with religion and everything like that. But I just feel like every day before I go to work, I always pray that God uses me however He wants to just like help the staff and help my patients. And I just feel like what Day was saying, like if you're sowing into somebody's life, you're the gift. And you don't like if somebody handed you a box wrapped up, you're not gonna look at the box wrapped up and say thank you. You're gonna thank the person who gave you the gift. And it's God who gives us as gifts to other people to help them through things. And so that's always how I think of it. And I just thank God for being able to use me to help other people. And that was like my basically my whole shift today was literally what we're talking about, like trying to help somebody the whole day to the best I could. So
Well, amen, man. Like literally, like everything y'all are saying, we are just vessels. Like even in this conversation, like I've learned so much, but that was the Holy Spirit leading it. Like again, this conversation was supposed to be 100% left. This whole Bible study was supposed to be 100% left, but that's what the Spirit does. The Spirit intercedes in the spaces where it needs to intercede in. And that's all we can be. All we can be is available in the spaces to Jesus. But in our availability, we have to understand that at the end of the day, it's not called for us to be the ones that fixes every single thing, because we can't do it. We literally can't do it. We, as much as we want to, as much as we might try to, we're not going to be able to do that. Only Jesus can do that through us. And so that was a really good conversation. And I hope that everybody was able to understand where other people was coming from, because I know like it can kind of sound as if like, you know, people are like, don't call me or whatever, because it's not necessarily the case, especially even with me, you know, like I'm available to y'all and I'm going to be here, and I'm, you know, no matter what, when it comes to that. But it is a thing where we have to understand that like, I am not Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And I can't be Jesus for you. I can't do what Jesus has done. But what I can do is help point you to Jesus. You know, I can point you in that direction where you can look for it yourself and get that revelation, or feel like you've gotten to a place where you can connect to Jesus inside that type of way. You go ahead. You got it.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm dead. I was just gonna say, I will also jump in to say that I think on the other end of it doesn't mean that people who need spaces to vent and open up should feel like burdens to do so. I just think that everyone is not always available or prepared or equipped, because again, I don't think that the individual is the person saving you. I think it's much higher than that, and I think that God is equipping people to be able to have the conversations that are ultimately the things that can steer you in the right direction. And sometimes God simply does not equip people with the ability or the time or the resources to have certain conversations. It may be that somebody else is the person that has been equipped to have that conversation with you, or like we said earlier, sometimes no one is being equipped because you are indeed the person equipped yourself. And that is a hard reality to face even for me, I know that like there have been a numerous of times that I would rather have vented to about something to Jay or to someone. And the reality of it is there's nothing, honestly, if I wanted to try to have a conversation with Jay, he probably would say something that would piss me off. Because the reality of it is God didn't equip him to have the conversation with me. The conversation was meant for me through Jesus to God. And so I think that there should be reassurance that just because people can admit that they're not always in the best space or ready to receive conversations that are taxing, it doesn't mean that you can't have conversations that are intentional and raw and emotional with people, but it just comes down to being understanding on both ends. And I think that oftentimes it's easy when you're struggling with heavy conversations and heavy thoughts to forget that the other person is equally as human, equally as burdened, equally as taxed, and equally as 20 something years old at this point in our lives too, where we're all figuring stuff out, and most of us living in the city of Atlanta stressed out already off of that. So I just think that it ultimately comes down to understanding, communication, about simply communicating. So that's all I got.
Amen. Amen. Oh, we got I agree in the back. So, you know. Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna proceed back into my non-speaking hole for for the next few calls.
Go ahead, Hadia.
How I start sharing my video instead of unmuting myself? Lord help me. But I was just gonna say I completely agree with Day, because I have been in those situations where I try to share things with like a boyfriend or a friend, and then you just don't, and it hurts when you don't get what you want. Like from that, like that you're being vulnerable and you don't get the reassurance or the comfort that you want from it. But it's like they said, they can't fill that hole. They can't give you what you need because they don't know you as well as God knows you. You know, they can't, I can't say anything else, but yeah. So I definitely started having conversations directly to God, and instead of like trying to like fill those holes with people and things. And it definitely helped tremendously with just knowing like you're enough, because it just tears you, it tears down and down like every time you're emotionally vulnerable, and it's not like you don't get what you need from it. It just chips and chips and chips away at the hole that you're trying to fill instead of filling it.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Literally, you just gotta give people grace. Like again, people are human, people are flawed. So it's, you know, as much as we want, and again, we weren't able to really like talk about it on both ends, but you know, I think that that's something that, you know, a lot of y'all have expressed inside y'all friendships, inside y'all relationships, and just like people, you know, and I think that it's okay to not seek that refuge in people, but end up seeking that refuge in Christ. And, you know, I think that we got to a good point. I don't know if anybody else had anything else they wanted to say. What's up?
I was gonna say on both ends with the grace too, because it
Yeah.
also requires that the people that are feeling burnout be graceful to the people that are going through trying times and just need time to dump, to understand like I don't know fully, even if I think I know, because I've had 1,000 conversations with them, I don't fully know how this is impacting them. To be gracious and understand, like, okay, I might not be the person you can have this conversation with, but I can spend a little time figuring out who is, or I can spend a little time figuring out, you know, some things that will direct you in the right path, and just being graceful to both parties. Because I'm sure all of us have been on both ends of it, and neither side of it is always crystal clear and fun. So
Yeah, I agree. And take the time to vet people, man. Like I said, like a lot of times I think that we kind of put an expectation on people without knowing them at all. And so just be able to take time to actually vet people and understand whether or not that's something that they can do and they're capable of, and being able to move forward with having that. Because the worst thing is to, like, not vet and then expect and then have somebody like let you down, because that can alter how you go forward with talking to other people. And so with that being friends, with that being in relationships, being able to just have good counsel and good community around you is important. So yeah.
And every counselor doesn't have to be a pastor
Right.
or a leader of a Bible study.
Right. I agree.
Like, there are also probably people in the call that are equally as strong in it that maybe don't vocalize it or make it as clear, that can be just as, and sometimes it's a compatibility thing too, and like communication styles. Like, he might not be the best person for me to open up to and dump all my stuff on, where like Hadia might be, or something like that. So
Yeah. What's up, Kendrick?
I was just like a little a personal thought I had, and I hope everybody, like you said, has been understanding. We all have our oh, excuse me, mindset on everything. But I was just thinking to myself, like, I agree with everyone's saying, but I just know, like, for me personally, like, for my kids, like, when they get here, it's just like, even if it kills me, I'm gonna like do every single thing that I can do to just make sure I'm there. It was just a personal thought I had, and I just wanted to share that though. But like I said, I hope everybody has just been understanding with each other, and we all here to just share our thoughts and stuff.
Oh, definitely, man. And I hope that that's the mindset for everybody, because, especially when it comes to your kids, bro, like, that's the person that you're the most responsible for, like, in the world. And so being there, but then also having grace for yourself and knowing that, you're going to fail your kids at times, and that's okay. As long as you can take the accountability to know, like, you're trying and you're doing the best thing that you can do at the time with the discernment that you're using at that specific situation, but, that's going to be your first time having twins, you know what I'm saying? And so you're going to be learning day by day, just like how they're going to be learning day by day how it is to interact with their parent. And that's for everybody, parents that currently have kids, future parents, whatever the case may be, future husbands, future wives. Like, that's going to be your first time in the experience that you're in. So be able to embrace the fact that you're not going to be perfect. Like, it's okay to fail at times in order to get better later. So, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up then, man. Great conversation. Hopefully y'all were able to, feel heard and feel like you were able to receive through the conversation. I think that it was needed. I think that it's hard to be the person expected to be perfect. Definitely, because that's a bar that you'll never be able to reach. Me perform worse a lot of the times, definitely, because nobody's meant to be perfect, and it's not meant for you to make somebody else feel like they have to be perfect in order for you to function. Because that's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. You can have standards and expectations or whatever, but at the end of the day, you have to let that grace come in and intercede in every situation, because, again, people are human, so it's okay. But hopefully, like I said, y'all were able to get something from this, or feel heard, or be able to talk, because in the end, I know a lot of times we kind of just like be doing teaching in the Bible study and just, don't communicate as much as we can in conversation, but trying to do that a little bit more and grow inside that, while also giving y'all the space to really say how y'all feel in an environment that's not going to judge you, or have you scared or traumatized. You know, we don't want to do that. And so we'll end it there. I'll pray out this conversation, and then we're going to do the prayer requests and praise reports afterwards, and then we'll get y'all out. So real quick, Father God, thank you for allowing your spirit to fill the chat, your spirit to fill this conversation. We came into this conversation literally just seeking you to move and intercede, and you did just that. And so I pray as we continue to reflect and meditate on the conversation that we did have, that we're able to receive something from you that we didn't have at first, get a level of understanding, a level of clarity, and a level of perspective from everybody inside this chat. So we can move forward and understand how to not only communicate and operate as a community, but as a believer inside this world. I pray that you continue to use us in the aspect of conversations, in the aspect of just healthy dialogue, so we're able to grow, develop, and operate in a way that we weren't able to do previously. And so thank you again for this conversation. And I pray as we go into these prayer requests and praise reports that every single one feels heard, feels understood, and feels received by you and the people inside this community. In your name I pray, amen. All right, cool. So for the prayer requests, praise reports, anybody have any that they want to share?
Yeah, I'll start off, I guess. For sanity, pray that I keep a good mindset. Well, first for my babies, that's one. Also just to just stay on a good level and stuff, and just a creative mindset, because I am an artist and I tend to overthink a lot. Like sometimes I let that overrun my mind. So just to try to find peace with that, because I will be up at 1, 2 in the morning just overthinking of something that I swear I made my mind up on 4 hours ago, and I overthink it again. So just that, and I pray for everyone peace and sanity also.
I got you, my brother. Okay, anybody else? What's up, Chris?
So prayer requests for guidance. I need guidance really right now. Peace as well. And just I guess as an update, I'm looking at Bible colleges now. So yeah.
Okay. That's dope, man. That's dope. Definitely keep us updated with it. Okay. Anybody else? I got any prayer requests, praise reports? What's up, Desi?
I don't really have a prayer request or praise report or anything, but I've been like the past few weeks, I've been wanting to say something to Chris, but I haven't said it, so I want to go ahead and say it now. I just feel like sometimes like God, you know, you sometimes when you're praying for something, he is answering your prayers. It might not be in the way that you want it. So I say that in the sense of like when I hear sometimes if your prayer about like the school you're wanting to go to, it makes me think of like my college experience. I remember at one point in time, I was just praying to leave like this certain school and just get into this certain school. And God opened a whole new door. And the way that that door has transformed my life has been crazy. So sometimes, you know, we're so specific with our prayers, but make sure you're praying that for what God wants you to have, you know? So ask God to lead you to the school that he desires you to be at and not where you want to be at. I don't know. I just been feeling that in my heart for like the past couple of weeks, and I just been not saying it. So I just wanted to tell you, like, The school that you may think that you're supposed to be at may not be there, and you might not know why right now, but later it could be a year from now, 5 years from now, you be like, wow, I see why you wanted me to be here. So that's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's great, man. And definitely, because you got a calling on your life, bro. And we see it inside the chat. I mean, inside the group or whatever. And so I do pray that that situation does happen for you, because regardless, like, like to be that young and to be walking, in Christ is admirable, bro. Like for real. And so I'm proud of you. And hopefully, like, you are able to, get the great good news that you're desiring and just wanting to lean into not only your calling, but higher education for real. Definitely, man. Anybody else? And thank you, Desi, for that. That was amazing. What's up, Key?
So prayers for my family. I found out today that someone passed away. So just prayers for my dad and his friends and everything. It was his mom, but they're basically like our family. So just prayers for my family. I've been having a lot on my mind. So please pray for me. Also, just I've just been making very careless decisions as of lately. And I've just been getting down on myself about that. So just prayers for the process of getting through the little funk that I'm in. And just better discipline, better decision making, and better communication, because I haven't been the nicest also as of lately. So yes, come on, patience and anger, same. Like I've just been real irritable as of lately. So yeah.
Got you, man. Got you. That patience and anger is a real thing, and that decision making and discipline. So echoing both of those. Anybody else?
Oh, real quick, my sister is taking her finals, so we're praying for Kiara. My brother Zach is also about to graduate high school, and my best friend's mom is also in nursing school, so she's taking her finals right now too. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Anybody else?
I feel like there's always something to give praise for. So just overall health, family, finances, even though I could be a little bit more. But finances, I don't know. I just think overall praise. I don't want to pass up an opportunity to just give praise, because it's a lot to be thankful for. So just general praise, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. Always something to praise for. Hadia. Sure.
I just want to thank God for getting me through the semester. I think I got all A's this semester, so hopefully I'll be a summa cum something when I cross the stage. And helping me just have balance, because I really didn't think it would be possible for me to work these jobs and like everything fall into place. But everything fell into place, and I got a raise in one job, and people like me at my jobs. So I just want to thank him for that, and just for keeping me and helping me to just um really, like, this semester has really just helped me to try to get away from being perfect and just work on progressing as a person. And that's in, like, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter, and trying to know that I don't have to be like the perfect person in everybody's life. I'm wonderful just as me with all my flaws and everything. I don't have to try to be like, you know, like that. I'm always okay, and I can, yeah. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, so I'm gonna stop there.
Good. 100% right. Proud of you. Anybody here? You got any more? All right, going once. Going twice. All right, for sure. Praise report. Again, the after school program here is ending tomorrow. So praise for that. Praise for these kids, and another prayer request for the kids, as it's ending, that means that they also have like a month off where they're going to be by themselves. So, there's certain family dynamics that aren't the greatest, where they have to, go back to home and an environment that's not necessarily the healthiest. And so being able to, just pray over the kids, make sure that they're in a safe environment, God is protecting them inside their situations, and they're able to, be able to seek people that are positive inside their lives to help them in that situation. So prayer, praise for that. Okay. If all hearts and minds are clear, we can go ahead and pray out. Man, I'm glad that y'all are here, man, for real. Desi, thank you for inviting Dion and Kendrick, and, thank you for coming yourself, man. I really have, over these last couple of weeks, I loved y'all presence and being able to hear y'all perspective and actually like be able to grow with y'all. And so thank you for that. I'm proud of everybody in here. Kalia, this your first year here. Ty, all of y'all. Juane, Desiree, y'all being here, Hadia, Key, Day, all of y'all, Mally. I've been seeing Chris, been seeing y'all grow, like, over these last couple weeks, years, months, whatever the case may be. It's been really cool to see. And so praying that as we continue to move forward, God continues to use y'all and grow y'all spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and, so we gonna keep it up, man, and we gonna be built to last moving forward. And so love y'all. What's up?
Quick announcement. Okay, so for the month of May, we're gonna, in my little Bible book club, but it's open to everyone, males included, we're gonna be talking about wisdom and seeking direction from God. So if you want to get in on that, I'm gonna send a Bible plan. We're gonna start it one Sunday, which is May 1st. There's 31 books or chapters in the book of Proverbs. So it'll be a chapter a day. So let me know if you want to do it. That's all.
For sure. And when are you starting, or you already started?
No, I'm actually gonna send the text out later, either later on tonight or tomorrow, with the invite to the Bible spin.
And if I know some people aren't inside of a group chat, and so got to make the overflow group chat as well. I know I've been saying that for the last couple of weeks, but I've been trying to get it to a place where it's enough people, so it doesn't feel like it's only like 2 or 3 of y'all inside there. And but I'm gonna do that soon. So if you're not in a group chat, if any type of group chat, then just let me know, and then I'll get you into at least one. And yes, doing what Kalia said earlier, writing a letter to yourself, your younger self, and Kendrick said, possibly like write to your older self. No, Desi said writing to your older self as well. I think that's super dope. And yes, if you know any other streams of income, pass them away, because your boy be broke. All right, cool. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, we'll go ahead and pray out so I can allow y'all go to sleep. Yeah, we definitely should. That should be a group thing that we do, Desi, in one of our meetups. So we can talk about that. All right. So if you can bow your heads and close your eyes. Okay, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for tonight. Thank you for leading the conversation again, how you led it. We know that we were all meant to be here for a specific reason. And so thank you for allowing us to be inside your presence. Thank you for allowing us to seek your presence and having that fire within us that continues to burn for you, God. I pray that you continue to pour kerosene on that fire so it will never be extinguished. I pray that you continue to have a hedge of protection over everybody inside this group so no enemy can come in and prosper against them. I pray for the mental, spiritual, and physical health of everybody inside this group. We know that for a lot of people inside the group today and this week, it's been very taxing, it's been very draining, and it's been very exhausting, God. But we know you are continuing, you have always been our strength. You have always been our refuge. So when we are ever inside these states of minds or these feelings of being lonely or by ourselves without support, I pray that you continue to show that you're always there, continue to remind us that you're always there, you've never left us, and continue to be our safe space, our haven, and our refuge for us to lean on in times that we need it. Whether that's good or bad, God, in good times, bad times, we continue to seek you. I pray for Kendrick and his peace, his sanity, his patience, and his anger, God. Continue to cultivate him into the man of God that you've called him to be. Continue to use his life as a walking testimony and continue to use him as a vessel for your glory, God. I pray for Chris and his guidance and his peace, God, as he's walking through this unfamiliar space of life, as he's going through this wilderness. Continue to walk with him, continue to let him know that you're with him and that he's not being led to darkness, but he's led to light. And so continue to show him the way, order his steps, and allow him to see his destiny that you have waiting for him. I pray for Desiree with her mother's health and also their relationship, God. I know over these last couple of weeks, these months, it's been strained, God, but I pray that you can restore any situation, any relationship. So continue to be with her, continue to be with her mother, and continue to cultivate that relationship, make the dead areas alive again, and continue to show them that at the end of the day, they are all that they have, and you are able to deliver them through every situation, God. And so thank you for her, and thank you for her transparency and her vulnerability. Also pray for her new environment as she's moving into this apartment with her son, that you continue to protect them, continue to keep them safe, and continue to just pour into her so she can be the best mom that she can be and the best woman of God that you've called her to be. We pray for Key, God. Pray for her family as they're going through this rough time with the loss of a loved one. We pray that you continue to wrap your loving arms around each and every single one of them, and know that an angel was gained today or in this week. I pray for her discipline and her discernment and her decision-making, God. Continue to make sure that it's your spirit that's leading her and not her flesh. Continue to show her the places that she needs to go and not the places that her flesh desires her to go, God. Open every single door that you call her to walk in and close every single door that you do not want her to enter, God. I pray that you make it as crystal clear for her so she knows exactly how to move and how to function. So there's no shadow of a doubt of what you've called her to do, what you've called her to be, and where you've called her to go. I pray for her brother and her sister as they're finishing up in school with finals, that you continue to allow her, allow your spirit to guide their decision-making, guide their answering, and just guide their hands when they're taking these tests. Also, her best friend's mom, as she's preparing for this final, that you be with her, that you give her the exposure that she needs and the clarity that she needs to pass this test that is going to further perpetuate her into the field of nursing and health. And again, God, for all of the prayers that were not asked, but you know of, answer them, God, answer them in your will. Allow your will to be done in every situation, every circumstance, and not our will, God. Allow you to be the person that is moving our needle and not us. And thank you again for everything, all the simple things that we take for granted. There's so much that we can praise you for. This life we do not deserve, but however, you still call us to be here for a specific reason. So show every single person inside this group what the reason is for them to still be here, and allow them to walk with authority through the gates of that you've opened, that's going to further perpetuate your kingdom. In your name I pray, amen. Thank y'all. I love y'all. I pray that y'all have a great night. Can't wait to talk to y'all again. And yeah, we're going to be scheduling another meetup, another meetup, something that we can do to hang out or whatever. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be able to send out text messages for y'all so y'all can see that soon. But again, I love y'all, and y'all have a great night. Not PJ, I'm dead. Not put it on a shirt, yo. I can't stand y'all. Good night. I love y'all, but God loves you more. Peace. Not PJ. So crazy. Stop, bro. Oh.